Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our virtual open evening tonight for our Brooksby, Melton and Stevenson campuses. I've got Liz with me today, who's from the Apprenticeships team, and she's going to be telling you all about apprenticeships. So if you have any questions at all, please pop them in the Q&A box and we'll get round to them all this evening for you. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Liz to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about apprenticeships.
So hello, yes, I'm Liz Miller. I work at the Stevenson campus and in the apprenticeship team. And my job is I'm the Student Opportunities Coordinator, and I work to try and help young people into apprenticeships, doing any diagnostic testing that's needed to be done, and also trying to help our full-time students into apprenticeships and give advice in schools. So first of all, just to tell you a little bit about apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are great. They're a great way to learn, a great way to earn and learn at the same time. They typically suit young people or people of all ages who want to learn practically, who want to get out in a work environment and actually learn the job by doing what we often call a hands-on way. So to tell you a bit about apprenticeships, an apprenticeship, as I say, it's like a job with training, really. It's like a full-time job with training. You'll spend 80% of your time out with the employer and 20% of your time with us at college. The 20% of the time with us is spent doing your nationally recognised qualifications. These, as I say, are nationally recognised, so that, you know, if you say do a plumbing apprenticeship, at the end of it, you've got that qualification to be a plumber. And you do it on either a day release or a block release basis. That means you either come to us one day a week, or you would come to us every 1 week out of every 5 or 6. We're typically doing a lot more block release ones now, because we find that that enables people to be able to learn over a period of time. Say if you're learning something like bricklaying, then it means that, you know, on a day you might not be able to do the full construction. Over a number of days you can. So the time out with an employer, you're not expected to know anything before you go on to an apprenticeship. When you go out to an employer, you have a mentor. That mentor will look after you in the workplace and will teach you. So how will it work? As I say, you're not expected to go in and know exactly what to do. The mentor will teach you. For example, say if we take a carpentry apprenticeship, you might on the first few weeks, you're watching, you're learning, they're instructing you, showing how to do things, and then gradually, bit by bit, you pick things up and you're allowed to do a little bit more, and then you'll come to college on your block release. We will teach you. A lot of that is actually in the workshops there, and you will learn from our tutors. There is some classroom work. Obviously you have to do the qualifications, but you do a lot of practical work, and then when you go back to the workplace you can put that into good use, and you can use the knowledge that you've learned in the workplace, and gradually over the period of time you will build up your expertise, and as I say, you will get those qualifications as well. So other important things about an apprenticeship: you are paid on an apprenticeship. You don't have to pay anything. A lot of people say, do I have to pay to do an apprenticeship? No, you don't. You are paid, you get a wage. Now, the apprenticeship wage is £4.30 an hour, but that is the minimum amount that an employer can pay you. It doesn't sound a lot, but for that, don't forget you're getting a lot of input, you're getting a lot of training. And employers can pay what they want. They can pay anything they want over that, and quite a lot of apprenticeships do pay more than the £4.30 an hour. I have to say that over the period of the lockdowns and the pandemic, we did see a drop in our apprenticeships, but they're really back with a vengeance now. We've got a lot of vacancies, a lot of really exciting vacancies in that you can have a look at on our website or on the National Apprenticeship website. And we do have an awful lot that you can of different types of apprenticeships, which we'll explain later. So other things about an apprenticeship: you get a contract of employment and you get paid holidays, just like a job. And the other thing is to remember is that you can do an apprenticeship at any age. You don't just have to do, a lot of people think you just do an apprenticeship at 16. We can put people on apprenticeships at any age, and we literally have had people of all ages, people in their 60s. An apprenticeship is a really good way to start again. If you're in a type of work that you want to change, you want to try something different, then apprenticeships do offer you that opportunity. So I've just noticed that my colleague Debbie has appeared, and she usually goes over how to get an apprenticeship. Do you want to cover that part, Debbie?
Yes, I can. Apologies for being late. Just a few technical issues. So yeah, my name's Debbie Perkins. I'm one of the apprenticeship advisors. So there's a couple of ways you can find an apprenticeship. So first of all, you can go on to the Find an Apprenticeship website, the gov.uk website, where all training providers and employers will advertise any vacancies they've got. So if you have a look at the moment, you can put your postcode in, you can put how far you're willing to travel from home, so 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles, and basically put something that you're interested in, and it will show you all the vacancies that are available. And then you can click on those and get some more information and apply for one of those vacancies if you decide that's what you want to do. So that's obviously for companies that have said, yeah, we're looking for somebody and this is our vacancy. However, the other way you can do it is to actually be more proactive. So if you know there's a certain industry or a certain company that you'd quite like to work for, then you can obviously submit your CV to them, send your CV and send a letter together with that CV saying that you are looking for an apprenticeship and would they be willing to meet with you, have a chat, offer you a work trial, and lots of companies like it when young people take initiative. It can be anything from a small company, because usually they're really busy because they have to do their own HR, their own accounts and everything, so they're usually very busy, and a lot of times if a CV lands on their desk and they like the look of it, they'll give you a call and have a chat if they've got an opening. Or it could be a big company who might have a talent bank that they add you to, and again they can obviously look at that. So it's definitely worth being proactive. The other way is to obviously ask family and friends if they know of anybody or any companies that they work for that might be hiring, because again sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. So yeah, that's obviously the main ways to apply for an apprenticeship. So back to you, Liz.
Yeah, is there any questions come in, or shall we just carry on with other facts about apprenticeships?
We haven't had any questions so far, so if we just sort of carry on talking about apprenticeship for those who are.
One thing I'd like to say is that, as I say, an apprenticeship is like finding an apprenticeship is like finding a job. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get an apprenticeship. So if you are watching this as a school leaver, or maybe a school leaver for next year, do bear in mind it's a good idea to have a plan B. So it is a good idea to apply for a college course so that you have got something to go to in September. If you go on a college course first, it's going to help your chances of getting an apprenticeship. Obviously, if, say, for example, you want to be a carpenter, if you have been on our full-time course and you've done some carpentry and you've got some skills and you've got a qualification, you're going to become more attractive to an employer. So it's a really good idea to have a plan B. It's always a good idea in life to have a plan B, and to apply for the course. If you apply for a course and you get an apprenticeship before, you just tell us. You don't have to come on the course, that's fine, but then you've got that safety net. And like I said before, apprenticeships are for people of all ages. You don't have to rush on one at 16, you know, when you leave school. You can go on a course first. Our courses don't cost anything up to 18, so you can go on a course, you can get the skills, you can get some more confidence, and then consider applying for an apprenticeship at the end of the course. Once you've left school, actually you can still apply for apprenticeships while you're on the course. You can keep looking on the National Apprenticeship website, like Debbie said, but certainly, you know, the courses will give you that extra edge, and also, as I say, it's a good idea to have something so that you're not left without anything in September. Apprenticeship recruitment goes throughout the year. The courses just start, the academic courses start in September and run through the year. So you can keep looking at the National Apprenticeship website, and you can, consider applying. Something else I'd say is that one thing you will need for an apprenticeship is a CV. I'm sure you've all heard of a CV, and that is your little advert to the world. You will need that all the way through your life, CVs, when you're applying for jobs or apprenticeships. And what we do when we're advertising our vacancies, we would contact you and ask for your CV. We then send that CV to the employer, and it's the employer who looks at the CV and decides who they want to interview. So that CV has to be the best it possibly can be. If you want advice on how to do a CV, you can contact us. I'm sure Meg's going to put the apprenticeship website up on the screen. And we're very happy to send you an example of how to do a CV and actually to give advice as well. And if you do want any advice about apprenticeships, about how to go about finding one, please just get in touch with us on that email, and we're very happy to give you advice about how to go about that. One thing I'd say with the CV is just, I see a lot of CVs all day, every day. Just make sure that it shows your passion for what you want to do, because that's what employers are looking for. Also, make sure that it shows any experience that you've had, no matter, if it's a bar job or whatever, it's work experience. It shows that you've worked with people. It shows that you've been trusted and that you've possibly got customer service skills. Also, don't make that mistake of sending the same CV to every apprenticeship. Make sure that you look at the vacancy. Make sure that you think about what they're looking for, and you tell that employer that you've got what they're looking for on your CV. So as I say, we're very happy to help with that. A lot of people have said to me, oh, well, employers just want to cherry pick. They want the best people with the highest qualifications. What they're looking for is somebody who is passionate, somebody who really wants to be there, who wants to work. And if you can get that across at an interview or on your CV, then it's going to pay dividends. Because you can imagine, if you were an employer yourself, you want somebody who you can trust, who can get on with the other members of your workforce, and who will be keen and easy to learn. Employers can teach you how to be a hairdresser or a plumber, but they can't teach you passion and enthusiasm, so that's what we're looking for. Is there any questions or anything you wanted to add, Debbie? Or
no, well, just to add, as you say, regarding the employers, I speak to a lot of employers, and definitely the biggest thing they want is obviously to have the right attitude, the willingness to learn, and they will invest all their time and effort into you if you obviously are showing that you are keen and you want to do that. One academic thing that you will need to do as part of your apprenticeship is your English and maths. You've not already touched on that, Liz? I didn't miss that at the beginning. No. So yeah, so if anybody's received their GCSE grades today, if you got your grade 4 in your English and maths, that's brilliant, because that means we can obviously just upload your certificates as part of your apprenticeship, and you will be able to just concentrate on your vocational subject. If you didn't quite get the grade 4s, then what I would say is obviously speak to us in the apprenticeship team, and we can advise you as to how that may affect your apprenticeship. So depending on the level of your apprenticeship will depend on whether we can still put you forward, but you will need to obviously carry on attending English and maths lessons, or whichever subject you need to do if you've achieved one and not the other. Or whether or not we might need to, as Liz says, perhaps recommend that you come to college for a year, study a vocational subject, and alongside that you can also then improve on your English and maths. So obviously whatever grades you got today, just come along and speak to us, and we can advise you the best way forward. If you're about to enter year 11, so if you're joining this in preparation for next year, all I will say is do your very, very best to get that grade over that the grade 4 hurdle, because if you do that, that does save you lots and lots of hard work sort of further down the road if you can get it in early. If anybody is obviously a little bit older and looking to change careers and perhaps didn't get the GCSEs at school, again, obviously talk to us. We can advise you how to do that. There are assessments that we can go through with you, but there are evening courses that you can attend college for as well, purely just to get your English and maths. So you might have to go a slight detour to get where you want to be, but usually we can help you with that. So obviously, just as I say, get in touch with us and we can advise you individually. So anything you want to add to that, Liz?
No, I mean, I think, you know, you covered that. There are eligibility criteria for getting onto an apprenticeship, and we have to do that because we have to make sure that you can do the work that we give you. It would be wrong to put people on an apprenticeship and sort of set them up to fail. But as Debbie says, you know, if you haven't got the right levels, we can do diagnostic tests, and don't let that put you off. Get in touch with us for advice, and we will talk to you and we will advise you. So is there any other questions or?
Yeah, so we've had a question from Rebecca, who has said, if she's already got a qualification, would it be useful to do an apprenticeship, or would it make more sense for her to go straight into full-time work?
Do you want me to take that one?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So depending on what your existing qualifications are, that could affect your decision. So sometimes if you have got a qualification in and you still want to further your career, then it may be that you could go in as a full-time position. Apprenticeships now do go all the way up to degree level though, so it may even be that you can obviously expand on your knowledge and use the apprenticeship route. So a lot of employers have to pay into what we call the apprenticeship levy, and they can only spend that money on taking people through an apprenticeship route. So more and more employers are coming on board with the higher level apprenticeships. So very often you can do, as say, level 4, level 5, which are your foundation degrees, all the way up to level 7. So depending on what your qualifications is, sometimes you might actually want to do a completely different industry. And although you've got some transferable skills, which we will take into account, it may be that obviously you do a completely different qualification, and again that's where the apprenticeship may come in, and you may need to actually start at perhaps a lower level than you've got already, because it's a new industry that you're joining. But again, as I say, that all of that your existing experience, your existing qualification, we will take into account, which may or may not be able to shorten the term that you're on the programme, and you may have, you may be able to cover some modules fairly quickly. So as with anything, I think apprenticeships and careers are very much about the individual, and it's obviously doing what's right for you, but we're here to sort of try and help you, or at least get you to point different avenues out for you so you can make the best decision for yourself. Anything else, Meg?
Okay, that's all the questions we've had for the time being, and we've got about 5 minutes left of the Q&A.
Shall I? There's a few sort of frequently asked questions that I could go over. One question that people often ask me is, am I going to get kept on at the end of an apprenticeship? And there's not a guarantee of that, but I have to say that a large majority of people are. The reason being that employers invest in an apprentice, and because they're investing in their company. They want to refresh their workforce. They want to train people up to stay with them. So most employers take an apprentice on to train them up with the hope that they will stay there long term. So the hope is at the end of an apprenticeship that it does lead to a job, and obviously the wage would go up then, and it will hopefully launch you into a long-term career. Another thing that people ask is what sort of companies do we work with? What sort of companies can you do an apprenticeship in? We work with really large multinational companies. We also work with really small companies. Sometimes it might be a one-man band, but if that person is a company that can give you a good training and fits all the criteria and all the health and safety, then we can work with them. And different companies suit different people. Some people like to work in a smaller company where you might get perhaps a more one-to-one intense training. Other people like to be in a bigger company. It's different things suit different people, but we deal with companies, all sorts of companies, large and small, in the area. Another thing that people ask is how long does an apprenticeship last? And they're all different. It depends on the level of apprenticeship and the type of apprenticeship. So it's anything from a year to 4 years or so. And as Debbie mentioned, there are degree apprenticeships now, and they are a very good option. The higher apprenticeships, the level 4, 5 degree, and particularly if you're watching this and you've done a level 3 qualification or you've done A levels, they're really worth looking into. So is there anything else that you think that we've forgotten, Debbie?
No, all I would say is if somebody is interested in looking at an apprenticeship sooner rather than later, then we do have current vacancies. We have still got employers who are looking to recruit sort of this month, next month, starting for our next cohort in September. So we have engineering vacancies, we have some early years, so if nursery nurse or working at a school, we have hospitality, we have construction. So we've got across the board. So again, have a look at our website. Our current vacancies are on there. Give us a call or email us at the apprenticeship team. So that's apprenticeship@smbgroup.ac.uk, and we can obviously let you know what's available, have a chat with you about your individual circumstances and take it forward from there.
And we do, if you contact us and there isn't an apprenticeship in that's suitable for you at the time, if we take your details and keep your CV, we will consider you for the future, and we do constantly contact people who've come to us at a later date if something then comes up that's suitable for them. So it really is worth getting in touch. It's really worth looking on the website, and as I said earlier, apprenticeships, we've got more vacancies I think in now than we've had in a long time. Would you agree, Debbie?
Yeah, definitely.
We did hit a bit of a dip like everybody did, over the lockdown, but they really are now flourishing, and we've got a lot of exciting opportunities. So it's really worth getting in touch.
Absolutely, thank you. I have put the link to our current vacancies at the top of the chat. So if you are interested, just scroll up, it's at the top. And yeah, really simple, all on our website, and just have a little scroll through. So I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. It's gone very fast. So thank you so much to Debbie and Liz for joining us, and thank you to everyone who has joined us on the Q&A as guests today. If you do have any further questions, as we've mentioned a few times, it's the apprenticeships email address that's in the chat that you'll need to use. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the Virtual Open evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.